how to let go, tough topic. And there have been some public television initiatives on forgiveness, which is an awfully difficult thing.
Yes, and that is the leading form of letting go, of course, but it's not quite the same thing. I think it requires some decision and some feeling that one has held on to something beyond the point at which it needs to dominate our lives, and then I think we have to consciously decide how to relinquish that. But you're absolutely right. It's easy to say and hard to do.
Have you seen people successfully battle it for a while and then get past it?
Absolutely. I mean, people say about forgiveness, for example, that it's often something that you believe that's impossible until the moment you do it. And so I think that people in therapy do that all the time, and I think it's an important task.
Another MPT and PBS initiative we wanted to talk about, and that is a program called Prayer in America. Let's set the stage a little bit there. The idea that Americans pray a lot, disproportionately when you look at some other westernized countries.
Well, we're a very religious nation, and whenever they do a survey, in excess of 90% of people believe in God and derive great comfort from the sense that they're in touch with the Creator, and that's why a great deal of the therapy, perhaps the majority, is done by ministers or by pastoral counselors. So there's no question about the fact that prayer is a big factor in a lot of people's lives.
And in your personal life as well, to the extent we want to talk about that. Well, it's public record that you lost 2 children along the way, and found some solace?
Well, ultimately I didn't. Actually, I certainly fell back to my Catholic childhood and prayed as hard as I could for their lives. And so I guess I'm kind of the poster child for unanswered prayers, and that made me, I think, a little more skeptical of what the Bible teaches. Whatsoever you shall ask the Father in my name, He will give it to you, John 16, and that hasn't been necessarily my experience. So I think, but the fact that other people are able to comfort themselves, and whenever there's an automobile accident, 3 people die, 1 survives. The parents of the surviving child say, "Well, God spared him," but what does that say about the 3 who died? It's a very, very hard subject. So perhaps the key thing is not so much whether our prayers are answered, but what comfort we're able to derive from our sense that we're in touch with God.
And your personal, extremely difficult period with that, do you feel that you found some comfort? Did it get you through some tough times? And the second part is, as bumps always come along in the road, do you ever utter a prayer these days?
I don't now, because I don't. It's very difficult for me to understand. Religion has come to seem a rather arrogant pursuit. At least, we're in danger. We feel ourselves in danger of people who believe too strongly. The people who fly buildings into airplanes, or who tell other people how to live their lives. So the fundamentalist religion, I think, is very dangerous. The more moderate form that that is a part of most of our lives is definitely less so. But it's hard for me to see most forms of religion as, or any specific form of religion, as having a corner on the truth. That part doesn't make sense to me, and yet people who are very religious believe that they're right, and they're atheists with regard to everybody else's religion. So yeah. It's a tricky topic.
to some degree, it's amazing how religious the country is, but then you talk to somebody like Marjorie who needs to find answers somewhere.
Yeah, and if that works, then I'm all for it. And when we use words as Hitchens does about delusion and so on, it just alienates people. I think we have to find some common ground here.
What's next on the book front?
Well, I've got I'm working on a book now on personality constellations, and so that'll be coming out in the next year or so.
Well, come see us when it's done.
Thank you, Jeff.
Nice to see you again.
Pleasure to be here.
And MPT has a number of community initiatives related to the topics we've been discussing tonight. For more on prayer in America and the campaign for love and forgiveness, visit our website.